The Chinese army has been asked to get ready for a regional war. Chinese President Xi Jinping has asked the PLA to be combat ready and saying that they need to be ready to win a regional war and make sure all decisions from the central leadership are strictly followed. Now, this message to his army comes in the wake of China's repeated incursions in Ladakh and his recent trip to India. And news just coming in, Minister of State for Home Kiran Rijiju has spoken on the incursions in Chumur in Ladakh as well as the Chinese Premier's message to PLA to get ready for regional war. Let's listen in.
हम लोगों ने रिपोर्ट पूरा लिया। हमारा आईटीबीपी के जितने भी फोर्सेस हैं चुमर में पूरा तैनात है। ऐसा कोई नहीं है, वो लाइन परसेप्शन थोड़ा सा अलग होने के कारण थोड़ा सा जो लाइन में अप डाउन हुआ है, उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि सरेंडर हुआ है। सरेंडर नहीं हुआ ना, हम जमीन कहाँ छोड़ा है। ये जो रिपोर्ट आया है वहाँ एलओसी के क्रॉस करके चाइनीज आर्मी जो आए हैं, इस तरह का रिपोर्ट है, वो तो सबको मालूम है ना, वहाँ लाइन डिमार्केटेड नहीं है। लड़ाई लड़ने का बात नहीं है ना, लड़ाई लड़ने का कोई बात ही नहीं कर रहा है। वहाँ लाइन डिमार्केटेड नहीं है, लेकिन हमारा फोर्सेस तो है ना वहाँ पे, उनके फोर्सेस आए हैं, डिमार्केटेड लाइन नहीं है, तो उसमें देखिए कोई जो अगर समझौता में कोई गड़बड़ अगर मैप दिखाता है वो उसका करेक्शन होना चाहिए, और कोई अधिकारी अगर गलती करता है तो उसको हम देखेंगे। ये तो सरकार का नीति नहीं है ना, कोई अधिकारी अपने लेवल पर कोई चूक करता है तो उसका हम लोग देखेंगे, करेक्शन होना चाहिए।
एक क्वेश्चन है ब्रजेश साहब, आपका ये कमेटी ने आपका रिपोर्ट सबमिट किया था फॉर द
हर मिनिस्ट्री से हम लोग ने रिपोर्ट मंगाया, अब एडवाइजरी भी हम लोग देने वाले हैं। हर
कंटिन्यूअसली नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न गर्ल्स का जो अटैक हो रहे हैं, ये और
ये देखिए, ये मैंने इसलिए कहा ना, ये प्रॉब्लम है, इसलिए तो कमेटी बनाया।
कमेटी का रिपोर्ट था जो इम्प्लीमेंट
तो इम्प्लीमेंट तो सिर्फ होम मिनिस्ट्री नहीं करेंगे ना, होम मिनिस्ट्री वेरियस, अभी कोई एजुकेशन इश्यूज है तो एजुकेशन मिनिस्ट्री को हम लोग लिखना पड़ेगा। अगर कोई हाँ, जैसे कि कोई मुद्दा आया कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट का जो है, हिंदुस्तान का जितना भी शिक्षा का जो सिस्टम है, चैप्टर्स में नॉर्थ ईस्ट हिस्ट्री भी वहाँ शामिल होना चाहिए, तो एनसीईआरटी को लिखना है, तो ये तो हम तो एचआरडी मिनिस्ट्री को लिखेंगे। अगर कोई हम लोगों को कहीं जाकर के नॉर्थ ईस्ट लोगों को अगर मेडिकल में तकलीफ होता है तो उसके लिए हम लोग हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट को लिखेंगे।
Gaurav Sawant, the Strategic Affairs Editor, now joining us on the story. Gaurav, this message coming in the light of Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to India and also on the intensification of the standoff that took place on Sunday and also the constant incursions of the Chinese troops into the Chumur area.
There's a very interesting message in what the Chinese President Xi Jinping is understood to have said within China. The message that's gone out from the government to the army is that the army should listen to the Communist Party. The army should have absolute loyalty in the Communist Party and they should follow the orders of the president to the T. Now, sources within the government here see this as the Chinese president telling the army to listen to his orders. So, is this the Chinese army following its own foreign policy? Was this a tactical level decision that they decided to come into Chumar? And this is in a way something that Chinese army has been doing all along. Whenever there's a visit from the Indian side to China or the Chinese side to India, to show that there is a dispute at the borders, there are incursions that take place. The Chinese president assuring Prime Minister Narendra Modi that this issue will be sorted out in a peaceful manner, and then the Chinese government telling the army that follow instructions is very interesting. From what my sources tell me, there is no fear of war, there is no fear of tension. This is just a game of brinkmanship, and we just have to wait and see how quickly do the Chinese withdraw and how quickly is this amicably resolved.
Gaurav, maybe, just maybe, could this also be indicative of what is happening within the PLA? Because it's not really clear why the emphasis was made on absolute loyalty and to follow the orders to ensure a smooth chain of command.
You're spot on there. There is a turmoil even within the PLA, within the Chinese army. There are several top generals who are under investigation. Some have been booked for corruption. So there is jockeying for supremacy even within China. And the fact that President Xi Jinping heads the Central Military Commission, he's the chairman of the Central Military Commission, he's also the president of the country. So he's in a very, very powerful position.
Right.
At the same time, he's now, very slowly asserting his power. So perhaps turmoil for a little longer, but sources see this getting amicably resolved in the times to come.
Let's have Uday Bhaskar, defense expert, who's joining us on the phone line to weigh in on this. Mr. Bhaskar, this really stern message coming from the Chinese president, because we've seen that since Xi acquired the image of China's most powerful leader, he's reshuffled military postings of generals loyal to him at the top and removed and prosecuted some top PLA generals for corruption. So is this a way, in a way, sort of him asserting his position, especially in the light of after his visit to India?
Yeah, I think one can make a reasonable conjecture that Mr. Xi Jinping, currently President of China and the chairman of the CMC, the Central Military Commission, is trying to assert the control of the party over the military, the PLA. Now, this in itself is not new, because if you look at the history of China, there have been occasions in the past when the PLA, which has the gun, quote unquote, has been either chastised or advised by the party to remember the Mao dictum that it is the party that controls the gun and not the other way around. I think there is 2 points here, Sanjana, which merit some kind of introspection or review here in India.
Okay.
The fact that this particular admonition, as it were, is coming soon after Mr. Xi's visit to India.
Right.
And we are aware that we had the incursion by the PLA and what might be termed as a fairly assertive display of PLA intent at a time when Mr. Xi Jinping was actually in Gujarat. I think most people who've been observing this were very intrigued by this particular pattern.
Right.
And this is a question that's been asked repeatedly, that was Mr. Xi in the loop when this PLA decision was taken? So I think there is something happening, in terms of the relationship between the party and the military. And this is the inference that one can make at this stage.